So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to the iPhone 12 Pro Max versus the OnePlus 9 Pro. In this video, I'm going to share with you which one is the better pick. Now I'm going to go through multiple categories and we're going to find out which one is better. I'm going to tally these up, and at the end we're going to find out which is the better overall phone here. Alright guys, so we're going to begin with the body and the build here of both phones. This one was tough, but I'm going to go with the winner here of these two to the OnePlus 9 Pro. And the reason why is not because it's more premium feeling. The iPhone does have the more premium stainless steel, but I'm going with it here for the way it feels in the hand. For a big phone, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is a little bit wider, it's heavier, and it's just more uncomfortable to use than the OnePlus 9 Pro. So I'm just giving it the win basically because the body and the build is way more comfortable to use than this one right here. However, in terms of design, which is the next category, I'm going to have to give it to the iPhone 12 Pro Max in terms of the overall looks. I think the iPhone 12 Pro Max looks more premium. It looks a little bit higher end than the OnePlus 9 Pro. Although the OnePlus 9 Pro is a nice phone, definitely, I think the iPhone 12 Pro Max has a little bit more of a premium, luxurious feel, if you will, over the OnePlus 9 Pro. Although that green color, the OnePlus 9 Pro, does have a more matte textured back, kind of like this on the 12 Pro Max. So that might be the option if you want an even more premium feel. This one definitely has a really nice color though, this really nice silver, but it does pick up a little bit of fingerprints. All right guys, so in terms of display, the OnePlus 9 Pro is going to win here as well in terms of overall quality of the panel. Now, if you have a subjective opinion saying, I don't like those curved displays, I like flat displays, well, keep in mind that's just a type of panel. However, the actual panel itself does feel a little bit higher end here on the OnePlus 9 Pro, mostly because it has a higher peak brightness of 1300 nits, not as high of a usable. However, there's a lot more customization here in this display. You have QHD+, it's 120 Hz, and it has an adaptive refresh rate for better battery life. In addition to that, you can calibrate the screen however you want, natural, vivid, advanced. Now, there are some calibration techniques you can do on the iPhone as well. However, this display is just so fun to use because you can really tweak it to the way you like. It's much smoother with the 120 Hz panel, and it's just a little bit more vibrant as well. The iPhone 12 Pro Max does look a little bit dull by comparison, unless you go into the color filters and you try to make it look a little more contrasty. However, I do like the brightness on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Again, the flat display is nice. The width of it is pretty nice as well, giving you an easy reading experience. But over here, you got True Tone, Night Shift, dark mode, typical iPhone stuff. But again, that notch, I definitely don't prefer that over a little tiny punch hole. I did prefer the OnePlus 7 Pro's display over this one though as well. Not the actual quality, but not having that pop-up camera was nice, even though a lot of people didn't like that because maybe a hardware might fail in the future. Still, it was giving you an all screen. So overall, the iPhone does have a killer display, but the OnePlus 9 Pro is just better in terms of the actual hardware that is provided here. All right guys, so in the software, we actually do have a draw here, and some of you fans of each operating system are going to say, what are you talking about? But again, you know, it's whether you like iOS or Android, they're both really good operating systems here. And the reason why I call it a draw is because OnePlus is one of the most polished versions of Android with the Oxygen OS that you can get on the market. And it really does remind me a lot of how slick and smooth iOS is here for the iPhone over here. And while it doesn't look the same as iOS, it definitely feels very smooth in the same way, even smoother in the animations and even smoother because of the 120 Hz. If you want an alternative to a Galaxy phone, this one might be your option over here in the OnePlus. And if you want an Android phone that's just as smooth as what you used to experience on an iPhone device, this can definitely be an alternative here with the Oxygen OS. And you might be saying, well, how can you give it a draw when iOS gets way more software longevity and support? And the reason I say that is because I think people that are buying phones at this price point aren't going to keep them 5 years, and you can get a similar enjoyment out of both of them. And we're going to give the iPhone the win in performance. I like this one better in performance because the A14 chip is just an absolute monster in the benchmarks, but also in the real world performance. I've never had crashes or lags at all for the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Regardless of the fact that it has a slower 60 Hz display, it still does give me a very good overall reliable performance day to day. So really do like this, and it just seems very snappy when doing anything that requires actual power, like doing video editing. You know, you can go into Luma and stuff like this, or if you're doing like using the camera in 4K. In addition to that, if you're playing games on this phone, everything just feels strong performance all the time on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, no matter what you're doing. And it doesn't get warm while doing this either. So I have to give it the win over the OnePlus. Now the Snapdragon 888 on this phone is also beastly. In day-to-day tasks, you will never notice. So if you were buying either one of these phones, they're gonna perform very great, both of them, in a day-to-day. However, the iPhone is slightly better performance, and I found the OnePlus to get a little bit warm, not very warm, but slightly warm under heavy usage. But both of these devices will give you strong everyday performance. It was a hard victory to call here, but I have to give it to the A14. It's still the highest benchmarking, fastest CPU on a phone right now. All right, guys, so when it comes to storage, they're pretty much a draw. OnePlus does have a better value on the storage, but you can also get the iPhone in a higher capacity with 512 gigs. So the real reason I'm giving this a draw is just because you have a higher option here for the iPhone, but like I say, you have better value in the price point for this storage. It costs more to get the same storage on the iPhone versus the OnePlus 9 Pro. So it's pretty much a draw here in a storage department. We can argue which one is faster, but that's not the point here. It's about the space. All right, so when it comes to the cameras, this one is gonna go slightly to the OnePlus device, and let me tell you why in a minute. Now, I know some of the results have better dynamic range, they're a little bit brighter, and I do think the photos are a little more pleasing for the average consumer on the iPhone. However, I think the OnePlus has a much sharper ultra-wide lens, and it's very natural looking, and it's just a lot more fun to use. So for me, I'm giving the win just to the camera portion to the OnePlus. It's just a more fun camera to use. It has a longer reach on the zoom, even though it's not optical all the way. It still has just a more fun to use camera system with an actual macro mode right here, where you can get really, really close to things, like very close, like right up on there. So definitely nice mode here. I just think the camera experience is better for the OnePlus in terms of just the way, just the features you have, the things you can do with it. And it does have that monochrome camera as well for giving you a really nice black and white photo there. So pretty neat on that one. But I'm not going to give it win on video. So video, I'm separating the section of camera and giving that to the OnePlus, but the video portion, hands down, going to the iPhone. Has better front-facing video and better rear-facing video. Although you have to give the OnePlus credit for being one of the first like smooth 8K 30 videos on a mainstream phone here. So if we go over here to the settings, you'll see we do have 8K at 30, and you can actually use this. It's not like super unstable. You can actually use this without a tripod. So very nice, very strong that it can do 8K, but I can't give it the win just because it has an 8K option, when the iPhone just gives you more consistent, smooth video and better autofocus, I believe, as well. So camera, I'm giving it to the OnePlus. It's just a little bit more fun to take pictures with this one. But video, I'm giving it to the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So in the battery department, there's only one winner here, and that is the iPhone. And the reason why is because the actual usage time is better. We can give the OnePlus a major win in charging performance, but that doesn't make up for the fact that the iPhone does last a little bit longer. However, the OnePlus is no chump in the battery. It will last you a full day pretty easily, but it won't finish with more percentages than the iPhone. So you got to pick, do you want the better battery life or do you want the better charging time? It really does come down to that, because the OnePlus is like 50% faster, maybe 75. It's really way faster in charging than the iPhone. All right, so which one's going to take it in audio?
So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to my Apple spring-loaded event.
Very loud there.
So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to my Apple spring-loaded event.
So they're about a draw on the loudness. However, the OnePlus doesn't sound quite as good at the full volume.
2021 reaction rumor. Well, not rumor, but react.
It's just a little deeper and richer on the iPhone.
2021 reaction rumor.
It sounds a little bit, scratchy at the high end there for the full volume there for the OnePlus. I'm going to give this one to the iPhone. And then finally, phone call and communications. Both of them do have 5G support, and they're both very strong in this area. I found that the iPhone didn't have quite as good of signal strength when making phone calls as the OnePlus. However, the 5G held on about the same. So this one definitely pretty much a draw. I didn't seem to find anything really majorly different about using both of these. All right, so the final results are off to the left. Body went to OnePlus for being more comfortable. Looks went to the iPhone for having the squared edges and just feeling more, premium looking. Display went to OnePlus for more feature set, smoother overall display, higher peak brightness. Software was a draw because it really comes down to which software do you want to use. Performance went to the iPhone. Storage was a draw. Battery life went to the iPhone. OnePlus took the camera, but I gave the video to the iPhone. Front camera went to the iPhone as well. In phone calls, it was basically a draw, and you can see the final results were 5-3-3. So the iPhone actually won this one out in the major categories that matter. However, I could bump the OnePlus 9 up to a 4 if we gave it the charging speeds. So it's a lot closer than you might think. This is not a runaway victory, and you should give OnePlus a lot of credit for really hitting with these big hitters now, especially considering before they were not at this game. They started out as a company selling a lot of phones that were cheaper, but giving you a nice alternative for a much less price. But they still have phones like that, like the OnePlus 9R. But for the Pro series, it's competing with these big hitters out here. So I really got to give them credit. They're doing very good up against these big hitters like the iPhone 12 Pro Max and S21 Ultra. It's almost a draw. It really comes down to which categories were more important to you. So I'll catch you all in the next episode. Let me know which one you would pick. Personally, if I can only pick one, I would probably go 12 Pro Max here just because I like the longer software support, and I really like the squared edges flat display. But that can also be had on the OnePlus 9. If you want a flat display, you can go get the OnePlus 9, the regular edition. And if you want to see more comparisons like this, let me know which ones those are down below in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.